And that's something that you take away with you, because even when you leave Budo, you see
don't
people
just
crossing
cross.
grass anywhere, and it's like,
It
disturbs me. You know, it's like, can't you use the walker? Why are you crossing? You know?
Try, but I'm not sure they can.
I stretched it one time. I had an assignment at the United Nations office in Nairobi, and there are walkways.
Yes.
But you can also cross. Now, I didn't know that I was being observed, but for my stay there, I never stepped until someone called me and asked me, "But what is it? Why can't you pass here like this?" You know, it just got stuck in me that
Your head,
I could not step on the grass. But for other people, it's easy. It's easy. So
that was in Gilgit.
Yeah. I mean, for the time I was there, I never stepped on them, and it was very easy to cross by them. There was no rule. In any case,
I think I took it an extra mile at my de facto place of work. We designed the gardens and put walkways, but people kept crossing. So I instituted a law and said, if you cross, you're going to be expelled. People thought I was joking, and I said aligning people for disciplinary for crossing the grass, and guys couldn't understand why this Muzee is making us for crossing grass. But they don't really understand the essence of beauty of not having paths to the grass.
But is it the same at junior school?
Yes. But the only thing
it was. I don't know how it is now.
Even right now, they have that rule. Again, the school was built with that quadrangle and so on. There are 4 of them. In the case of Budo Junior, it's what divides the boys' end from the girls' end, and so on. And we used to have that rule, but there's another smaller quadrangle within the boys' side. That one had to be used for multiple purposes. So there's no wet their bed, have to put their so for some reason we are allowed for that reason.
You're dealing with little kids.
So on. So by eventually during our time, what they did, they put posts and the wire to stop you from actually doing, because again, as you mentioned, they're dealing with young people. So that's the way that they would stop us from actually going into the
I want to take the walking in quads thing a bit to. I would like to know, because in our time, I think we were not supposed to walk in the rain or something. It was the Budonian thing to do.
You don't run in the rain.
Sorry, we don't run in the we don't run in the rain. You guys,
however heavy. However heavy.
You don't run. Someone is looking at me. I cannot.
What's this about? Was it?
But
did
you have raincoats and umbrellas?
No, it's Budonian thing. Yes,
I think it was just it was just a show thing. Where you don't run. How can I run as a Budo? Especially as an S6 or S5.
Yes.
But you start running around.
I'm curious to
whoever heavy the rain.
But
respecting the
I'm sorry to say, that's one rule I never knew about.
The rule in there. No, it wasn't a rule per se.
It was just a culture.
So it was just a culture.
So
Is
I
it?
just don't know how the Budonian swelling thing.
Certainly we didn't have that, but there were unwritten rules, especially for girls.
Yeah.
Girls would not run for anything.
We didn't run, we didn't jump over benches.
And they would have to walk very, very carefully as they walk down from the main quadrangle, walking past Muteesa.
Yeah.
Exactly why. Those guys in Muteesa used to give us names.
They would intentionally stand
Yes.
But excuse
So
me.
that's a culture.
In fact, if you have to pay compensation, all these things when they say pay compensation after
Reparation.
Muteesa House has to pay reparation.
No, but I was in Muteesa House. Not a single day did
Not
we.
just the Muteesa guys. Guys from other houses would also come and join them.
Yeah.
Okay, but strategic location
Was
was
Muteesa.
Yes.
Muteesa Highway. Because that is where they
Remember,
are.
Ghana is Ghana and
It's a
Canada.
little far, yes.
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 But
Eric defend
don't remember
Muteesa on
that.
this.
You see, what happened when I was in Muteesa, but I was in Muteesa house.
Yes, indeed.
But not a single day did I ever come out to.
You,
Yeah.
but,
There was a category of
Then I missed out a lot.
Eric, you
go
missed
there
out because
big
we
to get
all
my
knew
share
about
of it.
this one.
yeah.
We somehow all knew.
Even Canadians.
And actually now the girls would use other parts
Yes. Wait.
behind
This was the
Nigeria house.
Actually, you would fail to leave boys' end to go back girls' end just because of the Tessan Highway if you don't have anyone to go with. Yeah, like you just couldn't pass Tessan Highway alone. You had to be with someone. Even most
Tessan, it's a new one.
Tessan.
Tessan Highway.
Tessan Highway.
It's called what?
Tessan
Tessan
Highway.
Highway.
Tessan.
Not
Tessan.
we used to call it
Tessan.
Tessan Highway. But you'd find Nigerians, South Africans, Canadians.
True.
Hey,
Canadians
don't
used to
enter.
that triangle and come and join these guys.
But then also, it's
The arch.
right? Yeah, the Canadians, Englanders, and
Especially if the
also,
head prefect
they
was
also
from.
started their own Tessan Highway there.
Down there.
Yeah, down there next to in front of us. So you come from this side and you're passing through all those boys, they're their side, they're this side. You have to try not to trip. You try.
She said walk properly.
Yeah, you have to walk properly. Make sure you don't trip. Because if you trap,
But nobody ever
I
tripped.
want to just mention something that I am sure I've spoken to somebody who was in Budo before 1958, okay? And I'm going to check with her again. But I kind of remember her mentioning that that's a very same tradition by Muteesans. Why I say this is because Muteesa House in that location started in 1958. Before that, it was the older part of Ghana. Okay, that the whole of Muteesa House was the primary school.
Hey.
In 1958, Kabinja is built, so all the primary school kids go out of that building, which is now Muteesa. It used to be called Chua.
Was it just the Ghana house?
No, it is now Muteesa House.
I agree.
Now, across the road,
That
you
information
know,
is
what
very
Ghana House. Ghana has two. There's an old,
Senior.
there's a block.
Uh-huh.
Then there's another old block, which is also
Yeah,
Ghana.
far
Yeah,
off
no,
England.
There was
facing this quadrangle.
Ghana overseas.
Start with Ghana, then another still goes away
It's
from
like their
Ghana.
common roads.
And then you have a third one, which is Canada.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay? And then you have the newer Canada.
yeah.
Now, at that time, the first block, okay, Ghana was created in 1958 after. So Ghana didn't exist.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
had that first block was Muteesa.
Hey.
Okay? The middle block was Muteesa, half of it was Muteesa, half of it was Canada. Okay? Yeah, true. And then the last one, Canada. Okay? So Canada goes back a long time. So even then, girls had to pass by the side of the quadrangle, the other side now is the primary school. Girls used to pass this side. And so, and according to me, I remember, I will check with them again, that again they used to be teased. That's why I'm saying it has nothing to do with the location of Muteesa. even when it was on this side, they tell that story. But yeah, so Muteesa then moves over there.
With that.
Ghana is created because now there's space. The Kabinjans have gone. And then, Ghana is created. They brought students from other houses to create what? To create Ghana. And then Nigeria is the last house to be formed, which was 1964. When the Americans gave us some money, you can see that they got new buildings. So that's when Nigeria is formed. Again, it was also by picking students from other. And then they put them there.
So Nigeria was after Africa or before? And England.
Nigeria is the last house to be formed.
What
as a
about
house.
Australia and
The first house to be
Africa?
formed was England, of course. Okay, Canada, followed by Canada, but it started as Turkey. It was called Turkey. I think at the time those were the big British or big. If you've read European history, the Ottoman Empire and so on. So Turkey was big and so on. So it started with England, then Turkey, which then became Canada, then Australia, then South Africa. It was actually started off as South Africa. And then it became, during the apartheid campaigns and so on, until it became Africa and then came back to South Africa. So those are 4. Then, I'm not very sure when Muteesa was formed, but I think it's the one that followed. So that's 5. And then followed by Ghana. That one I know is 58 when they relocated the primary school to Budo Junior.
Could it have been after the transfer of the primary school?
Yes, yeah, it created space.
To create what? Ghana?
No,
Muteesa.
No, Muteesa was there. I told you it was there.
It was on the other side.
It was on the
Share
other
with
side.
what is currently
I
Ghana.
think it was formed, I'll check. I haven't got the specific year. But no, it was there by the time that Budo Junior was formed.
Okay. But
So,
did they change the layout of the dormitory Muteesa house? Because if it was a school, it would have had segments, you know, P1, P2.
absolutely it did. But it was for the boys. The girls were girls. They went Gasta. Gasta was for girls, primary school. It's the boys who are in Muteesa. Again, in those 3 blocks.
So the girls studied from down there,
They used to have to walk up.
or they came.
Yeah. The bottom classrooms, you've got 3 classrooms. Then there's that open kind of
The hall.
hall.
The farmer's
Then
hall.
another 3 classrooms. Those were the classrooms for the primary school. They had 6 classes, P1, 2, 3.
Up to
Then
6.
4, 5, 6. And the middle was their dining hall. So they would actually, when they come, they don't go back, they eat here. But Muteesa had, it was called Chua, so you had Chua 1, Chua middle, and Chua, I think, upper. So you had P1 to 3, I think, or P1 to 2 in one block, 3 and 4 in the middle block, 5 and 6, because there used to be 6 classes in those blocks, yeah. But those were the numbers, they were not very many.
When we spoke of the Chua and it reminded me of there's a Chua at junior school, and someone told me how it came about.
Yes.
Because the current new block was called Chua, has been called Chua block because they realized it had been shifted down the hill to Budo Junior and it didn't remain with anything, and yet Chua is the.
Oh, you mean the one at King's College?
Yes.
The one I think they wanted to remind to remember. He was the Kabaka when.
Who gave us the last? Yes.
Funny enough, that story is, he himself was very young.
The Regents, or
But
the guys who
Regents
used-
made,
yeah.
but it's very interesting on that day that the school actually commemorated its opening. He came, and of course, was guest of honor and so on. And in the excitement of the whole event, he actually wanted to go to the coronation place. And I told him, even you cannot go there.
Yeah.
You don't, especially with people like Kabaka, you only go there for a specific reason, and you can't go there on any occasion. But he did say that he missed the opportunity of having been a Budonia, but he awarded himself honorary the first chairman of the board, the chairman of the board.
He was the first patron of the OBC, yes.
But who was that?
Sure.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
Because he didn't study at Budo, but I think he had grown up. They used to have tutors and so on.
Yes.
But even the other Kabaka, when he came, he used to just come and he would come say the morning, then goes back, and then have tutors and so on.
I want us to switch gears and talk about something that was very special during my set, Budo, and that was Budraso. We had the interhouse, the MDD interhouse, and we competed in the music, the dance, drama. I don't know how early that was started, but each house competed, whether you had girls' parts and your only boys' house, whether you had a boys' part and you made sure you filled in those gaps somehow. But then we had the Budo Drama Society, and now this one brought in everyone from different houses, different classes, and you acted, you sang, you danced, and I was also part of Nightingales, so some productions we combined. Because I remember we had plays that we actually took to National Theatre, and we had I don't know if it was a director or a producer, but he came and helped us polish up, Dr. Charles Mulekwa. And he's renowned in the arts. And it's something that when we were doing rehearsals or coming together, the whole Muteesa, I am Ghana, and it kind of died out, and it brought all of us. Because at the end of the day, going out of the school to take the play was another thing. Because you want to go out of the school, right? So there you are unified in that battle to make sure the play is top notch, and then you go to National Theatre. But in our time, we looked in Nightingales, and we put 2 productions together, the Joseph production and the Elijah production. And we took these 2, Gayaza, Namabonga. Up to today, I wonder why we didn't take them to boys' schools. Because it was a mixed production, like girls. Why only go to the girls' school? But anyway, it's one of the experiences that for me made my stay very memorable at Budo. I don't know what the rest of you think about that time of Budrasa itself, but also whether it was there from the time of Julia. Was it alive?
We used to
Drama Society.
Yes, the Budo Drama Society.
Yes. We mainly used to do plays of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Merchant of Venice.
But also local plays were also played.
Local plays?
Yes.
When you say local plays, what do you mean?
Like
Son of 2 tribes.
like Majangwa, such things,
Were there any plays written by Uganda playwrights?
Or the students themselves?
I think
Or even the students.
Students, yeah.
But
I think certain, when you read through the history, acting, plays, and so on, I have near a part of the school. Whether it's in terms of the school productions or even inter-house competition and so on. And of course, we have outstanding playwrights and authors and so on. We've had people like Okot Pipitek, Sonia, John Nagenda, and so on. So we do
Professor Anderson.
Badiri and so on. So the history is certainly there. I went to school with one of the sons of Badiri and so on, and Kwame, and he was in Essex.
Kwame was
Kwame's
there.
class, yes. So it certainly goes back, no doubt. The name Budraso actually did, I think, round about when I was in S1, I think they started using it. It was something else. I think it became Budraso.
It was Budo Dramatic Society.
And that's what Budraso showed.
It brings it when it's Budo Drama Society.
And we used to have very many clubs. When you went into S1, there was drum, there was the band.
It was up to you to choose what you wanted.
Photographic, debating, and so on.
I think that's what's happening
So-
when you guys came. Because in our time, there were a few lots, right?
So,
But I think the most popular one
outstanding.
was the drama one.
The drama one was pretty outstanding.
Nightingale.
The thing is, it had more people and so on, although now I have to admit for me, I refused to join. And I remember John Gara, Kanamze, he was the one
was
running
in my
it and
class.
so on. Their production that time was The Son of 2 Tribes and so on. And the main reason is, of course, when you're in S1, you're still very small.
Yeah.
I was quite small, and he really wanted me to join. And but I found out that you're going to be one of these kids who's fighting for bananas, you put dust all over you. Meanwhile, when you go in this one, you think you have made it.
Yeah.
You are so big. I could not live it up with all my friends refused.
What he hasn't mentioned, he was also small in size.
And that's what I'm saying. They wanted me to do what? To play that role. John Gara, he was a prefect even. I remember he even caught me in prep, doing what? Making notes. And he took me outside and said, I'm going to forgive you on one ground. Even that one. I could not say. But they did a lot of fantastic.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Going to the theater and so on. I remember also my friends who tease and so on, that there, you go and your first role is to be a tree. The one who's supposed to be. So we used to tease them that by the way, you started your acting career. So at least if you're a soldier, you have to be also soldier. Just stand right through the whole thing. Yeah. So drama was great. It also brought a lot of, because it's a creative thing.
Yeah.
So you notice when students who are very, very creative and so on, they may not even be interested in anything else. But when it came to drama, the other one was the band.
Yes.
The band had been there for quite some time and so on. I could personally, I could not play an instrument even up to now. But I joined because it was the
In
thing and so on, failed to play. But I
What
carried.
part did you play if you played, if you joined and you
I
could play an
joined.
instrument?
Then somebody has to carry the instrument. Okay? That one was like,
And it was always cool being with the band, the girls.
so
Yeah.
and when they are going out, when they are going to go to another place, but I carried the instruments and so on. I graduated from that. I used to be now the one who would be at the gate to collect. And then eventually I'll be the one who would go out to go and hire instruments,
Yeah.
bring them, because the players are, the circles are for them they're on stage. Somebody has to be behind the scenes.
Managing.
And we learned a lot about, for me I learned a lot about organizing things,
Yeah.
management and so on. Because you are allowed to go hire the instruments in somewhere, you know this road, tarmac road that goes in Tinda, Chiwatwe, those places used to be for burial only. We never used to go there. You go to a far Chiwatwe, Nigeria and so on.
Actually, it was a bush.
It was bush. We went to collect instruments from a guy who was wearing a kanzu in a mud house, but he had the instrument. We had to take, I think the Maram Road started from Kira Road, round about Kira Road police station. So you go there, you come with the plate. By the time you get there, you're full of dust and so on. You get those instruments anyway and bring them to Budo on Wednesday afternoon. So you do rehearsals Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay. Then on Saturday, we were allowed to go and play in college school, Material College School, in the afternoon. So you get, remember your target is to get the money back. So you had to learn things like break-even analysis and so on. I became an accountant later, so I know what I'm talking about. But you play in college school in the afternoon, then at night you come to Budo, you play for the evening, and then the big one, going to play in Nabigo with beans. But first of all,
It's
the
not a
whole
big
system-
situation.
Now they're increasing. They're now increasing.
But to negotiate the Nabingo gig, I tell you, first of all, we had, fortunately, our headmaster, the acting headmaster, Victor Paji, was also the patron of the band. He had to give you support to go and talk to the what? The administrators being with. But you have to go and negotiate on your own. For me, I've kind of helped you to open that door, but you have to negotiate. So I should normally tell you, number one, all my girls must have a chance to dance. Okay?
Must what?
Now, must have a chance to dance because we want to collect money. You have to get back the money to go and pay Mr. Education who's hired the instruments, so on and so on. And leave some money so that you can buy more instruments. So you go to negotiate with the headmistress. She says, first rule, all girls must have a chance to dance. Number two, you don't charge more than a certain figure. So we had to quickly work out, if we charge that, how much did we earn here and so on. We have to wait at the gate. I think the figure was we needed to get 100 girls paid to come in. Now this is where it's very important to have a non-playing person who has done the calculation, so we'll be there.
With the
The calculator had already worked. If we get 100 girls in, and then open the floodgates. So I can tell you, as more popular than
The guys that are talented.
the stage playing. They were
The man
not
with
popular
the
to me because around the entrance, all these girls are, hey, what's his name? What's his name? They are asking.
Wow. Mr. Handsome.
So, but I was there with a friend of mine, late Douglas, actually. So he passed away. But that was our job. We'd be there. Douglas and Celia, but we were more popular until you opened the floodgates. Because of course, when you open that, they forget about it. But so then let them in. You make all the money. You go and you pay Kenya, and then you have enough money to do the work. So I'm just giving an example of how clubs help children to grow. Okay, as I mentioned, I've never been a player, But I got involved, lifted that things, did this, did that. I ended up being an organizer. And those memories of wanting to organize and so on has stayed with me. This is why I joined the Old Budonian Club, even in the UK, even here, because I always believe that you have ability to work.
Susan, also to add on the Nightingales thing, when we were in our times, the Old Budonians, whichever Old Budonians would get married, they would ask us to go and sing. Yes, in their church service, even at the reception. So for us, all we needed to do was to sing and then look forward to the sodas. And where else would we have eaten the cakes from?
True. Yeah. Actually, I was impressed with the Nightingales. There was a Joseph production during our time, Joseph and the technical.
Yeah.
And it impressed me because the music was good. And eventually, even when I got a chance to get the DVD, that Andrew, I think it's Andrew Draper. So it was that impactful.
Would Russell's still existing when you guys joined? What replaced the Budo?
Well, something similar to that I think would be in Chapel, the Scripture Union Drama Club. But it does not go out to it's a theater or something like that. But maybe in case Scripture Union visited Gayaza, they brought some skits to play out and things like that. So it's just kind of became a chapel thing.
But actually, to back into what she said, in 2008, I think we still had Budo, because one of my good friends was there, Simon, and he tried to get me in, but I was like, it's not the coolest thing around. Maybe I need to look around elsewhere. Yeah, so it was for like the fewer and mostly the chapel guys. So actually, most of them were chapel wardens. So I think that's how it ended up going to chapel. Yeah, with one of those new chaplains that really wanted to build up, I think, the capacity of chapel. And I think there was a bit of a struggle in between the Christian circles there. But Budo was there. But I remember there's a guy called Daniel Diva. He's actually a civil engineer now, I think, in Sweden. Very good guy. He came in S5. Very dramatic. He was in Nigeria House. He picked up the drama. I think Nigeria won, either one MDD was second. He brought them up and he pushed that club and a few of his disciples later. So I think after maybe 2010s, after the 2010s, maybe it went into chapel side, but it was there. And chapel choir, I think, later replaced the Nightingales. I don't know when the Nightingales died out.
Yes, we need to revive.
But chapel choir came and took over. It was now big.
I think chapel is because chapel tends to be already organized. It already has a structure.
Yeah, continuity.
Been there.
Yeah.
The chapel is there, but things like contact and the Scripture Union and so on have
been
a very long period
there.
of being existed.
Yeah.
Sometimes one of them overshadows the other, but
The last I heard is that contact is no longer there.
yeah, but contact was supposed to be a period at one time.
It's now Scripture Union.
Was it period?
Why do I
It was
feel
a period. You used to have what they called, at least when we went, the group was called Contact. But it was because there was a contact period. When you went, those who want to have extra spiritual
Contact.
Before contract,
Sunday afternoon,
like Sunday night at 8.
Sunday
Yeah.
evening? It's
And
in
we
a-
would meet in one of the Bazungu
houses.
teacher house.
Teachers' houses.
Yes, and after that contact period,
Yeah.
they would serve us with cookies,
Cookies
and
and of course,
all that attracted us.
You went for the cookies.
So they went for contact.
And it used to be called Sunday night at 8.
Interestingly, the contact choir was quite it dominated the Nightingale during our time because there were Kubos, with Evelyn and Dr. Pastor.
Yeah.
That's how we got to join the Joseph production and the Elijah production with Russell, because the Nightingales brought the musical part of it. So, because the production had acting and singing, So they had to bring in the skill from the acting Budo Russell to now do the musicals, because you're singing and actually acting.
But so what I've noticed, remembering the times and what has happened, there's a time when music was removed from the syllabus. Like music was no longer.
Why?
It was done for
It
something.
has become
Now.
academic. I think it's leaned into being very academic. These things that you're talking about, the different things, Red Lions Club. I was in Red Lions and I loved it, and it was football. But there were all these things which I feel like the band, Nightingales, and what else did you mention? Russell. But there were other things that we would do. And I feel like over the years, because you're trying to compete and beat SMAC and all these other small schools, you end up kind of
not giving them priority.
Not giving them priority, and then end up like losing that thing that made Budo different. Because Budo is different because of that ability to shape you into. He's talking about the ability to go out there and think money. You go and I feel like that has died out over time.